Hi, this is Dean Muccio here on Boca Chamber Radio. Welcome to Boca Behind the Scenes. This is where we peer into the city of Boca and talk with some employees. And I always say we drive by the big city building and we go, there's people in there I know. And so we get to put a face with the job and find out a little bit about everyone. Lindsey Nieratka is here, Sustainability Manager, and Leanne Welch, Manager of Gumbo Limbo Nature Center. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you very much.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. You're new to the city, but give us a little background on yourself.
I am new to the city. It's a new position, Sustainability Manager with the city, but it's one that's been around regionally and nationally. A lot of places are developing sustainability programs. Prior to this, I was Sustainability Coordinator at City of Hollywood, so just a little bit south. My background is biology for the most part, and then kind of later in life I got into environmental studies, did master's work related to community-based conservation and really the interaction between people and their environment, and that just led me into wanting to work in a capacity in which we can make really institutional change, because we want people to live sustainable lives and do things which are beneficial to the environment and then to their long-term well-being as well. And those things should be just ingrained in what we do.
Sure. That's impressive. Leanne, tell us about you.
Okay. I'm relatively new to the city. I started in October 2016. Gumbo Limbo has been around since 1984, so it's got a much longer history than I do. Before coming to work for the city, I was a volunteer at Gumbo Limbo. I was a member of Friends of Gumbo Limbo. I visited often with my family, so being there as the manager is definitely my dream job. I can't believe I get to work there. It's really fantastic. Before that, I worked for Palm Beach County, and I worked with their coastal and ocean programs.
Excellent. Okay, so let's talk about the role the city plays in what is the Plastic Free July about, and where did it originate from?
Yeah, so Plastic Free July is it's an awareness event, and it is an international event that was started in Australia in 2011, and it started as just a office initiative for an environmental organization in Australia. But since then, over 2 million people have opted to participate from over 159 different countries. So what Plastic Free July does is it challenges participants to take a look around their lives and figure out the places where they're using plastic unnecessarily or not recycling it properly, and to then implement some changes to reduce the plastic waste that they're producing. So the city is just putting it out there for residents as an awareness campaign, and we have some information on the website about some things that you can do to try to participate and reduce some of your plastic.
And why go plastic free? What is the real big picture of this, and what does it do for, as far as the environment, and how does it help?
Well, big picture with plastic, we've learned a lot in the last few years about the impact of plastic on the environment and just the amount of plastic that we have been producing. A study came out, I think last year, that looked at all the plastic that's been produced since 1950 and what's happened to it all. And the results were surprising to even the people doing the study. We've produced over 8 billion tons of plastic since 1950. 70% of that has been disposed, and of that only 9% has been recycled, which means of the plastic waste we're producing, 91% of it is not being recycled, which means that it is somewhere, and sometimes that's going to be places we don't want it, like in our oceans. A lot of that plastic is packaging. Most of the increase in plastic production in recent years has come from packaging and other disposable products. So we have this material which is designed to last forever. Plastic can last anywhere from 450 to 1,000 years to forever. We don't know. It hasn't been around that long. So all the plastic that's ever been produced still exists, and 91% of it has not been recycled. So we have this logical disconnect between this material that lasts forever and a use of it which is for disposable products.
And as far as the marine life and the turtles, which is such a big thing here on the beach along our coast, the plastic really has been detrimental.
Yeah, and we see that up close and personal at Gumbo Limbo. 2/3 of our planet is covered in water, so it makes sense that 2/3 of that plastic that has not been recycled has wound up in the ocean. And we see that in the most remote islands in the Pacific that man has never set foot on, and they get there and it's just littered with plastic waste. We see it up close and personal at Gumbo Limbo, especially in our turtle rehabilitation facility. Every year there's tens of thousands of baby turtles, hatchling turtles that are born on our beaches, and they're little. They're smaller than the palm of your hand.
Sure.
And they're born with all of the knowledge they need to be an adult turtle. There's no mom doesn't come back and take care of them. So when they're born, they swim for about 2 days. They get out to the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and wind up in these giant weed patches, these sargassum weed lines. And from there, they are pre-programmed to eat pretty much anything that fits in their mouth.
So they ingest they take it into their system. They eat the plastic, and this really causes internal problems with the animal itself.
Well, sure, because it has no nutritional value, and it
Right.
fills them up, so then they don't eat what they're supposed to be eating. And
Right.
frequently, a lot of them wind up back in our rehabilitation facility. They're weak, and they get washed back up on the beach. Occasionally, some of them do die, and we do a necropsy, which is an animal autopsy. And what we find is 100% of them have plastic in their stomachs. About 2/3 of the animals in our rehab facility are also impacted by plastic, whether it's entanglement in fishing line or rope. Occasionally, we have to do an amputation of a flipper for that. So, I mean, we're just seeing it up close and personal every day.
It's a sad situation because it can easily be taken care of. And you say on the website there's information.
You can link to our website from the city, but we have our
Okay.
own website. It's gumbolimbo.org.
Now, are there pictures or are there photos of situations like this where people can actually see what it's doing to the animals, or is that something you don't really want to put out on a website or show people? It's just a thought. It's just
That's a
something
good thought,
popped
actually.
in my head
Well,
here.
last summer, we had a male green sea turtle. We don't see males very often. We see the females when they come on beach to nest.
Sure.
The males are generally, once they're born, they go in the ocean, and we very rarely see them. But we had one that did wash up on our beaches. He had been hit by a boat, and we thought that we were going to be able to save him. He died within a few days, and when we did that necropsy, we found that he had monofilament fishing line completely entangled inside his intestines. So something he had eaten was wrapped around this fishing line. So unfortunately, there was really nothing we could have done to save him, but we did post those pictures, and they were a little gruesome, but we made the decision that it was more important that everyone know
Sure.
what they could do. And with that, it's a simple fact of recycling your monofilament fishing line. And the state, FWC, has a huge program where just about at every fishing pier, at every inlet, they have these monofilament receptacles. So a fisherman, if he's done with his line or he's
Just
not
drop
using
it
it,
in.
just drop it in.
So as far as environmentally friendly events at Gumbo Limbo, what do you have there as far as for the public to see? And
Well, we're open 361 days a year, and everything we were
I've been
founded.
there. It's great.
Thanks.
It's such a great thing.
Everything we do is based on education.
Right.
But we do have some big events a few times a year. So our marquee event is our Sea Turtle Day. And that's generally the first Saturday in March. And we have thousands of guests. We have exhibitors. And we ask that, all the booths and everyone is environmentally friendly. And we bring in lots and lots of extra recycling bins for the day. But we do have, at Gumbo Limbo, we have in our nature center and then out by our aquariums, we have water fountains with bottle fillers. And so we encourage people to bring their own reusable bottle or reusable cup. And we've only had them installed for about 6 months, but we just checked this morning and we've saved over 10,000 plastic water bottles
Wow.
by encouraging our visitors and our volunteers and our staff to use those. So in addition to Sea Turtle Day, we have World Oceans Day, where we celebrate not just sea turtles, but everyone in the oceans.
Sure.
And that's the second week in June.
So let's talk about what people can do to help with this situation with getting plastic out of marine life and off our beach. What's some things that we can do?
Well, if you go on the city website, the sustainability page, I have just a few kind of easy changes that people can make. And some of the basic ones, as we already talked about, the water bottles, reusable water bottles. The city of Boca Raton has amazing water. Our water utility is, providing really well-regulated, safe, clean, good-tasting water. And so people can fill bottles. Coffee cups are another place where bring your own, fill it at home, bring it to work, and then tote bags to replace plastic bags, because those are things that are used a lot for plastic bags in particular. They're lightweight, they tend to float away, can get into our water bodies, and they can't be recycled curbside. They have to be taken to the bins like at the grocery stores.
Sure.
So it doesn't get recycled as much as they could. Straws are another big one. There's a lot of momentum around straws at the moment. We talked about images of the turtles and the impact of plastic. And a couple of years ago, there was a video of a sea turtle with a straw up his nose. And it got a lot of people really interested in that. And straws are something that are not strictly necessary for most people. And so one thing that is easy to do is just skip the straw. Just say no straw, please, when you're at a restaurant.
My wife was with went to a restaurant, and the waitress basically said, "We don't serve straws anymore," which is great. She was shocked, but it was the first time that had happened.
It's actually really exciting just to see it happening almost organically, where people are doing the right thing because it's the right thing, not
because you have
that,
to.
Right,
It's
making
the law.
that decision that
No straws,
for a whole restaurant to decide,
Sure.
well, we're not going to offer straws. They'll have them on request, but that is pretty exciting. At Gumbo Limbo, we have beach cleanups, and we've been averaging about one a week, and that is external groups that come to us, and they want to make a difference. And the easiest thing we can do for a big group is facilitate a beach cleanup. So we provide gloves and the little pickers so they don't have to touch the dirt.
Right.
And one thing we've just done is invested in reusable, collapsible plastic buckets. And we offer those to our groups going out on the beach. So they fill the buckets with trash, then they bring the buckets back to us, and we just put it in our dumpster. So before then, we were giving them plastic bags. And I was like, is that a good idea? No, we're just encouraging plastic.
Right.
But you mentioned straws, and that's one of the most common litter items, and cigarette butts that they pick up on the beach are straws. And they're tiny, and they're not necessary.
It's just a matter of getting the word out and getting people to understand why we should get rid of straws and not have plastic on the beach, and be able to recycle it properly. I appreciate you guys being with us. It's the city of Boca Raton, Boca Behind the Scenes, and we had the opportunity to talk with Lindsey Nieratka and also Leanne Welch, a sustainability manager and also manager of Gumbo Limbo Nature Center. It's great to meet you both. I love putting faces with the jobs and hearing all the interesting things that the employees are doing. So this is a lot of fun for me. So thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.